Go.
I'm Manny, and
This is Micah, and we're going to talk to you guys today about just price of gas being high and what we can do about it to just deal with the high gas prices and stuff. So
we're gonna start off by talking about the problems. And the main problem here is that Americans are just too reliable on oil. You know, they depend too much on oil. They're too busy. They, you know, everything. Their lives revolve around oil.
yeah, basically, we all know that gas prices are high and they're continuing to rise. And people are spending like $40, $50 a week on gas. I filled up this morning about 35 bucks, and that's relatively cheap.
So, you know, people tend to believe that, you know, public transportation isn't really adequate, especially here in Los Angeles, where it's such a great city. No one feels comfortable driving in the bus.
Yeah, people. There's tons of ways that we can save gas, not just by
riding a car. For example, I live, you know, give or take 5 minutes from campus, and rather than, you know, driving a car there or, you know, taking a bus or something, I just walk there or take my board. Mika, on the other hand, he's a commuter.
Yeah, since he's on campus, so he can do the close range stuff and walk. I commute not that far to commute, but it's about 20 minutes or something, but I still have to drive. So when I can do those carpool with friends who have the same class time as me, I can save on gas, cut down on gas price right there. So if commuter or carpooling, we can also just take public transportation, like Manny said, subways, metro, bus, whatever it may be, train to get to school. So there's tons of ways, even if you commute or live on campus, to save on gas.
And another thing that we could also do, like, I have a couple friends who live at the dorms, and I know there's a tram that picks up people from the dorms to campus. And honestly, there's no reason to be taking the tram. It's like a 10-minute, 5-minute walk. Like, sure, sometimes it's really hot or sometimes it's really cold, but why would you take a tram? You know, wasting gas is wasting energy when you could just, you know, just drive, just walk. It's not that long of a walk.
Yeah, people are really hesitant to use public transportation and to go out of their way to save gas. They think that, oh, it's going to take more effort to walk or to take public transportation, but in reality, you're saving money. You're saving, if you don't use your car as much, you're cutting down on spending tons of dollars of gas prices.
And the reality is, we are running low on oil. You know, we have to find other sources of energy, and it's hard to do so when, you know, especially in LA, everything revolves around driving a car. But the thing is, it's the small things you do that make a difference. You know, just walking to the corner liquor store instead of driving, or carpooling with a friend to work or school, or, you know, just the way you drive. You know, just being a more precautious driver. You know, just it's the small things you do that really make the difference. You know,
yeah,
we're not telling everyone to go buy hybrids. We're not telling everyone to, you know, drive electric cars, completely, you know, be oil dependent. You know, it's just, it starts with small things. You know, baby steps.
Yeah, we don't have to go all gung ho and like change the government, and that's where, I mean, the majority of the work is going to deal with the government allocating the funds from giving all this money to oil companies into researching alternative fuels. But like he said, it's the small stuff that has to be done. We have to take steps at a local level, just by like starting out with changing our daily habits, from not using our cars as much, or just other tips like that. Just being more energy conscious at home, even not really the oil, just energy in general. Turning off lights, using less water, that kind of stuff. And then slowly, like, get in contact with organizations if you want. Vote. We can voice our opinions in the government, sign petitions, all that kind of stuff.
Like, another thing that has been going on throughout our decade primarily is this Go Green campaign. You know, we see it a lot in the news and the TV stations, which they've done a great job in promoting the Going Green. You will see in some news stations that they have, you know, sections, you know, the Go Green section, where, you know, they talk about, you know, ways of saving energy. You know, they have they have ways where they promote it. They give people advice, they give people tips, and, you know, it's the small things that really make the difference.
Yeah, and even now, like, I was watching a show like a few weeks ago, and they had the shows for that week were like all, they tied in like a green effort kind of thing. All the shows mention something about going green or environmental friendly, that kind of stuff. And the media plays a pretty big role in what the public knows and the public thinks about what we're doing as a country and as individuals to be more environmentally friendly and deal with the oil crisis that's happening right now.
Right. So another thing that it seems to be a problem nowadays is that oil companies have ties with too many corporations, and it becomes hard to look for alternative sources of energy, primarily because, you know, they don't want to do the switch that drastically. You know, they don't want to make all their cars into energy efficient cars. You know, it's a process that takes time. You know, it's a problem in the short run, but, you know, in the long run, hopefully if they continue promoting their energy efficient cars like the Prius and the Honda Insight and hybrid cars, you know, it's a problem that's being fixed. Another problem nowadays that we can notice and take into consideration is the fact that most hybrids and energy efficient cars are very expensive. You know, you buy a Prius and you're looking at about $30,000, and compared to buying a Civic for $18,000, and where you get great mileage for a Civic. You know, you're getting 34 miles per gallon, while in the Prius you're getting about 40 or 50. So, you know, people, you know, they rather save $16,000 than spend those extra $14,000 on the Prius. But, you know, those are all stuff that, you know, it's in the long run it'll be fixed. You know, in the long run these cars will be much cheaper. You know, it has to start somewhere, which is a good thing that's going on. You know, it's the fact that they're actually considering it, taking into consideration, you know, they're taking a step into this is something that we should acknowledge.
Yeah, and the government, like I said before, the government is the one who needs to kind of step in and take some action. I mentioned in one of my speeches in class that the Brazilian government took action and forced car companies in Brazil to make engines that ran on ethanol fuels, in which they dropped their oil consumption rates down from 85% all the way down to 10%.
Yeah, another thing we should also continue is that it really is ultimately the governments that, you know, they're the ones that really make the difference. You know, people could do as much as they want to save, but it's really the government. If we notice in Europe, the average gallon is about $20, $18.
Yeah,
so, you know, we're over here complaining about $5 when over there, you know, they have to deal with $18 gallons. But that's because people over there are just accustomed, you know, alternative forms of transportation, public transportation. They take the train, they walk, they ride bikes. You know, Amsterdam is a huge city where most of the people would drive bikes.
Yeah, I went to Europe 2 summers ago, and that's how we obviously I don't have a car, but we traveled through metro. There's tons of people use metro and buses and local trams and stuff, and to get around instead of using cars.
That's good, that's good.
Yeah. So
once again, thank you for listening, and hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, what we can do about it to just deal with the high gas prices and stuff. So.